Hi there, well done for making it this far in the course. In this video, we're going to go over loops. Loops are one of the most powerful functions that you have available to use as a DJ. They allow you to create transitions and effects that would otherwise be impossible to perform live. In addition, they can make mixing much easier for a beginner. However, as useful as they can be, you must use them correctly in order to get the most out of them. First of all, you want to make sure quantize is enabled, otherwise it will be very difficult to set up a usable loop during a mix. So first enable quantize on your decks or on Rekordbox if you're using a controller. Now, to set up a loop, you can do it in a few different ways. This can vary slightly depending on the equipment you have, but on most decks you will have in and out loop buttons. On my XDJ and CDJ over here, I've got the in and the out loop buttons right here and here. The orange buttons that you see right here and here. Now I should mention, on some older DDJ controllers, they're actually located at the bottom right of each deck and they have a rectangular shape, but you'll still see the words in and out labeled around them. Now, as many of you may have guessed, the in button sets the start point of your loop. The out button sets the end point of your loop. So if I wanted to loop, let's say, one phrase of my track, I would have to press in first and then push out at the end of the phrase. Now, on a lot of decks, you will also have auto loop buttons. However, I advise against using them because when you get to the point where you're performing live in clubs and venues, in a lot of older decks that you may come across, they only have these orange in and out buttons in order to set loops. Therefore, if you get used to using auto loops instead of the in and out buttons, you may find it difficult to set up your loop when using older equipment. Now, one final thing about the loop in point. When you push the in button, it does indeed set the starting point of your loop. However, let's say that you want to start your loop where your cue point is already set. Well, in that case, you don't actually need to push the in button. This is because your cue point already acts as the starting point of your loop. Therefore, if you ignore the in button and simply press the out button wherever you want the end point to be, the loop will activate and it will use your existing cue point as the starting position for the loop. Let me give you a quick demonstration. Let's say I want to loop from the beginning of this track to the end of the 8th bar, which would be equivalent to one phrase. I don't need to push the in button. All I've got to do is push play and push out at the end of the phrase. So I'm going to turn up the volume, press play, and demonstrate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, out. And there you go. I've set my loop and it's looping back to the beginning now. Now the loop is also represented by this yellow highlight that's popped up in the background. I want to point out that on some older decks again, this yellow highlight won't pop up, but you will see the loop icon right here where it says 32 with a little looped arrow, and that's going to indicate that the loop is currently turned on. Now I can exit the loop at any time by pushing the button titled Reloop Exit. See, if you press this during a loop, the loop is exited. If you press it once you've quit the loop, then it will go back and reactivate the existing loop. And that's why it's titled Reloop Exit, because it either quits the loop or it reloops. So if I play, I can push this button and it will simply exit the loop. You see, we no longer have the yellow highlight in the background, and we no longer have the orange highlight right here. Now that we've got that out the way, let's jump into the next video where I'll show you how to apply loops in a practical way to improve your mixes.